Hi. What do you mean it's not a makeup tutorial today? Then what is it? Three things. Okay, I'm all ears. Authenticity, relatability, and what? Spectrum. Oh no, spectacle. Okay, yeah, I see. I think we've done something with authenticity just the other day, no? Oh, today is a different one. Okay. Drama. I can do drama, yeah. I mean, I have no idea what any of those words mean, but I guess I can find some TikToks, right? I'll just draw some mood board and let's get this done. Drama. Oh, hi again. So yeah, we're talking about spectacle, authenticity, relatability, performance, and let's sprinkle a bit of theory right there. And the theory we're going to talk about is by debord, who in 1967 wrote that modern life had already become a spectacle and a world where social relationships are mediated by images. So basically, what we do is that we take real life events, then we turn them into images like photos, videos, whatever, and those are representations, and those representations build a whole new world in itself. And today, a spectacle is not something that we watch, but it's something that we perform. And while debord didn't talk explicitly about influencers, for example, but yeah, he also didn't even need to, because while in the society of the spectacle, he describes a world where visibility becomes value. And some 20-30 years ago, fame still felt like something exceptional, like you needed to be super original or to have like a super specific talent or something like that. And yeah, today it's a completely normal career path, right? You can become a content creator, you can become a thought leader, public intellectual, whatever you want to be. And yeah, and all that is thanks to social media and our online presence in general. All you have to do is just to build your personal brand. Maybe you need some knowledge, yes, of course, as always. But yeah, if you want a sort of classic or traditional sort of a job, you still have to participate in all this spectacle kind of world or society, because yeah, you need to create your persona on LinkedIn, you need to write a ton of opinions there, you need to gain followers there, and you need them to like your posts, and then you have to sell yourself through CV, you have to sell yourself through rounds of interviews if you ever get to that stage. But yeah, you still have to do all that, so you can't really escape us the whole spectacle thing, right? You're always there, and we all are in this society that was described back in 67. And so it's not really that you want to be famous, but in a way you have to be. You have to be visible, and you have to perform, and you have to position yourself. And yeah, if you understand fame as a greater visibility, then fame may no longer be a goal in itself, but it's a sort of requirement of just being economically sustainable and successful to some extent also in the modern environment. So participating in this whole spectacle is rather economic. And traditionally, influence was tied to institutions or your relations to them or participation in them, like universities, museums, or any sort of institution that basically validates your opinion and gives your voice a chance to be heard and to be respected and considered within society. So authority depended on not just what you said, but on this kind of institutional legitimacy. And this is where Pierre Bourdieu's theory becomes useful. Bourdieu argues that society is structured into fields. There is an academic field, there is an art field, and a media field. Within each field, people may have different forms of capital. So those are cultural capital, which is your knowledge and education. Then there is also social capital, which is built on your social relations, like your family, your friends, all your social connections. And there's also symbolic capital, which is built on recognition and prestige. So some 15-20 years ago, influence largely came from cultural capital, from your degrees, your publications, books you wrote, if you ever have, and institutional affiliation. And today the hierarchy is shifting, and platforms like TikTok, YouTube, any social media that give you a place where you can express your opinion, they introduce a new dominant form, which is visibility as a capital, or in Bourdieu's terms, a transformation of symbolic capital, where recognition is no longer granted by institutions but by the amount of attention that you get. So while it looks like anyone can become influential, in reality, success depends on mastering the rules of those platforms, which means posting behavior, your visual language, and emotional hooks that you put into your content. So if you try to answer the question of who is influential today, then probably those who can convert attention to recognition, then recognition to authority, or in other words, those who accumulate symbolic capital through visibility. Here's where we come back to the idea of debord, and his idea wasn't that we just consume images, but we also begin to live through them while simultaneously shaping the whole new world. And so from making the spectacle of ourselves, at this point we are probably taking different roles in the spectacle that already exists. Today, our whole identity turns into these simplified images or formats that are so easy to understand and also so easy to feel related to, like clean girl, cushy guy, intellectual guy, or whatever is down your alley. I don't know all those names, I'm sorry. So even authenticity has a recognizable aesthetic, and which means that we are not just expressing ourselves, but we are also casting ourselves. And the spectacle doesn't necessarily demand originality, but it just has to be relatable and recognizable. Well, if you take a walk by Madonna as an example, some people probably would say that, yeah, it was a big part of their life, and yeah, she did make a walk more popular, she brought it to the whole world, but also, did it change life of any queer person, at least one? Did it make it safer? Did it change anything in the world politics? You know, something that actually impacts our life every day. And on top of all that, she did take the whole thing out of the context, which was about Latino and African American queer people having their safe space for self-expression. And at the same time, there is another example. Let's look at RuPaul and drag queens who actually share that they managed to build careers by doing what they love. Have they ever been able to? Well, not really. So here's a very different example, isn't it? So maybe the question is not about the fame as a goal, but fame as an instrument and what it actually gives you, whether it is a career, sense of validation, or whatever you wish, whatever is down your alley.